Tzeentch, the Architect of Fate, the Changer of Ways, is one of the 4 Chaos Gods available in Total War, Warhammer 3, and it's probably one of the least likely to condone having a standard beginner generic style army, but we're going to do that anyway and hopefully not incur his ire. I am Chris, and this is Game Chambers. We're going to be doing Tzeentch today for our beginner builds, and we're going to build a Tzeentch army, jump on the ladder, and see how we do with it. So we're going to start off with something that would be useful in most situations, then we'll talk about how to customize it once we actually queue up for a ladder game. So we want some capture weight, so we're going to grab some spawn and blue horrors. So these are highly reliable capture units. The blue horrors in particular have significant range damage as well as staying power, and they're also really cheap. So that makes a nice little core of capture units. For a cheap-ish resilient lord, most Tzeentch lords are actually quite resilient, so they're not going to be very easy to kill, but we're going to go with Kairos Fate Weaver. He has a couple of abilities that do make him quite resilient, and as you can see, you strip him back, he's extremely cheap. So as for which abilities we want from him, we are only going to take the blue fire of Tzeentch. We're not going to grab anything else at this stage. We could pick up regrowth if we have points left over, but I'm not going to look at it at the moment. We do want to grab the lore abilities, Life Leeching and Fires of Change, because we're going to be casting blue fire as much as possible, so we might as well have these triggering as much as we can. And Greater Arcane Conduit does increase his recharge rate and his spell damage, so we'll grab that one. Oracle of Eternity, that's going to increase his survivability, so we will grab that. And Gaze of Fate is an extremely powerful debuff with a snare attached, so we will also grab that. Now all these other ones are quite good, so there's no real bad abilities on Kairos, but we're going to avoid them for now. And just go with blue fire, and we're just going to blast anything large that our opponent brings. So now I've got capping power, we've got a survivable lord, we need something to be mobile and moving back and forward between the points. And for this, Tzeentch has quite a few options, so we could go with Furies, we could go with Screamers, we could go with Chaos Knights or Doom Knights, depending upon what we're up against. I'm quite a big fan of a couple of Furies and maybe a Screamer. So we'll start with that as our core, but we can always change and modify it depending on what we're up against. For our reinforcements, now we want to bring a little bit more capture weight along with us, so we'll grab another spawn, a couple of units of Forsaken. So Forsaken are fast, relatively resilient, the Tzeentch ones with the barrier, and they do magic damage and sort of significant damage against unarmored units in general. Grab a couple of pink horror units, so these are also good holding units, plus they're quite good at range as well, so you can see they got 20 ammunition as opposed to the 5 on the blue horrors. Now to go with a little bit more mobility, again, now this is where we're sort of going to get really matchup specific, so we might leave the remaining 4,000 points and spend them later. So we're going to save this here, and we're going to call it a Tzeentch starter. And now we're going to go and queue up and see what we can find. So yep, we've got plenty of capture weight in the starting list. We've got a little bit of mobility, a resilient lord with some ability to shoot things, and we've brought more capture weight in the reserves. We haven't brought the extra mobility, so we do have options. So we'll look at those once we get in and see who we're playing against. Okay, we have found a match. Let's see who we're up against. So we're up against 121978305. We are going to select Tzeentch here, and we're going to load our preset Tzeentch starter build and lock it in. So let's see what we're up against, and then we'll see if we're going to make any changes to what we're bringing based upon what Mr. Number here has got. So we're playing on the Eye in the North. It's quite an open map. Both deployment zones can essentially see and shoot to each other if you have ranged units with that sort of a reach. And there's a couple of choke points in the middle of the map, fighting around this point here, so you can come around through these chokes and around these sides as well. So we're up against Kislev, so we're going to need something to deal with the sleds. In this case, we're going to need a little bit more mass. So the Screamers are alright here against sleds, so we'll bring some Screamers, yeah, bring a couple more Screamer units. Although Screamers don't have capture weight, and the Screamers are also not that useful against other stuff. So maybe 2 units of Screamers in total. And then we might bring some Flamers, because they will kill the sleds rather quickly. And then we'll get some Chaos Knights to try and hold the sleds in position. And then we've got 1,000 gold left, so we could grab... What could we grab here? It's only going to be one of a couple of different things, so we might have to tweak a little bit. So, can't go quite upgrade to an Exalted here. Could upgrade the Flamer to an Exalted Flamer. So that gives us a bit more range to shoot. And then we've got 600, we'll grab another Fury. So Furies will be alright against Kislev. They can try and harass the sleds, they can attack the back lines. So what we've done there, we've picked up some cavalry. So Knights of Tzeentch should be pretty good against most things that Kislev brings, except maybe Bear Riders and Leopards. And maybe not so much the sleds, but they will hold the sleds in place. Exalted Flamers are there to kill the sleds along with the Screamers. Everything else is there to hold the point. Now we'll give our opponent a sign that we're ready. So we're ready up for 15-20 seconds, and then we'll unready, give him time to build his list. Okay, our opponent is now ready, so let's get into the match and see how we go. So what we're going to do here is probably going to send 1 Blue Horror and 1 Spawn to hold the back point. And then we're going to send the other Blue Horrors and Spawn into the middle, and we'll just see what Kislev does for the far point, and see if we're going to try and take it, or if we're going to just focus over these back 2. So we'll have a Spawn, 1 Horror here, 1 Spawn here. So that's my right hand group. Middle group, and we'll probably send one of them this way. Oh, how did I do that? Don't know what I just did there. Get some Spawn in the middle. Got a little bit of lag. Let's hope this sorts itself out. That's not too bad. Okay, so we're going to have a group there. And a group there. Put the Furies in one group, just over here out of the way. Screamer in another group, again out of the way. Oh, what are you? Oh, you're supposed to be in group 3. And Kairos. Kairos' job is just to blast things with pink fire. Snare anything that's going to get too close, and keep himself alive if he gets in trouble. Now you can use him as a combatant. His attack and defense stats are pretty atrocious, as is his charge bonus. But he's still a large terror-causing monster, so don't be afraid to drop him into combat. If he gets in trouble, you can drop the Oracle of Eternity and pop back out and recharge that barrier. You can see he has 1200 points of barrier. So that's quite a significant amount of recharging health. It's going to be a little bit jumpy. Oh, here we go, we're off. Okay, let's get these units moving up. Let's see what our opponent has brought. So he does have some light war sleds over here and some bear riders. And he's also brought some Streltsy and Zargard. So the Zargard are going to be quite good in melee, but the Spawn should do alright against Zargard because they do have armor sundering. And the Blue Horrors will be interspersed with them. So Blue Horrors, we want to make sure they're on guard mode, so that way they continue to shoot in melee if you do click on someone that's in melee. Kosovo Dervishes over here all by themselves. Let's see if we can get the Furies just to run them down. And Kairos. Let's just get those light war sleds taking some damage. Now for our reserves, he's brought a fair bit of infantry. We might grab another Screamer unit just to keep them handy to jump on those bears or those sleds. Kairos is just going to come in, he'll drop his pink fire on the light war sleds, and then we'll move him back out because he might take some fire here. And there's blue fire is off. Now we'll pull him back to let those shields recharge. Where's that shot coming from? coming up from inside the lava. That was interesting. Wouldn't have noticed that if it wasn't lagging. Okay, so let's make sure the spawn are blocking these doorways. And the blue horrors, one of them can be dispersed on top and the other one can be back behind it. Same with over here. One on top, one just behind it. Alright, now I bring you back. Now these sleds are coming in, so we're going to get ready to snare them here. Oh, hang on, he's changed his mind, he's not coming in. Oh, he is coming in. I'm not sure what he's doing here. Let's just shoot him again. I'm going to bring in the flamers. Or the exalted flamer, I should say. And get him down the middle here. Yeah, so the sleds took some nice damage. Furies are over here, doing alright there, yep. Now if you are playing Tzeentch and it's still patch 1.1, don't use this ability. It doesn't actually work, so make sure you save up for, potentially just save up for their top level ability. The other abilities are not really worth grabbing at this point in time. So the sleds have fallen back. Okay, bit of a fight going on here. Might get a pink horror unit in just because they've got a bit better range. I might send these screamers up this way, see if I can get these furies out of combat. And Kairos. And another one, another spelling on to those war sleds. I'm intentionally not bothering to engage here, because I just want to hold the point. Okay, so what have we done here? Sled's gone down to 3. Let's see if we can just clear away a few things here. Would have been one of the Furies, yep. I don't know how good 2 Screamers will do against the that Flamer's doing alright. We've got another sled unit coming in, so we'll just keep up the pressure. And we might get some Forsaken just to assist in the melee grind in here. Because it looks like he's just going to sit back and trade with us at range. Send these Screamers first into the... No, we'll go straight in on the Warbears, actually. Spawn are dying.
One of your units has been destroyed.
Not going to take that engagement. Shoot those.
Fight them.
Let's go and get in on this engagement here. We're going to snare these chariots. And we're going to charge Kairos in there as well.
We have a victory point. Keep it from the foe.
And we shall get some more Forsaken. I'll actually send this one Forsaken over here, just put some pressure on the side point. Okay, so we're going to activate his ability because Kairos is taking a fair bit of focus fire here. Get back airborne. What's going on here? I don't want to focus Castalton. We do want to keep focusing the sleds though. Okay, so we've got our Storm of Fire ready. Now once these bears and everything comes into the middle here, I'm going to redirect this spawn unit in, and we'll resummon another spawn unit to fill the gap that's left behind. Stay on those war sleds. Now, I'll just drop that there to deal with those 2 units. I did want to get the war sleds, the war bears as well, but it doesn't look like it's going to quite that easy. Yeah, let's get that into there. Okay, so this should do some nice damage. What do you have? Lane of ice. Okay. We have a new target for Kairos. Let's go start putting some pressure onto the Ice Maiden. And we'll get our blue horrors continually flooding out onto this central point. Okay. Cool. Both sleds have a recalled. Let's drop Kairos back down in the middle, because even though it's a terrible combatant, he still causes terror. And get just that shooting in on there. Get them into there. Get them into there. How are we doing on damage? Way behind on damage, which is not a good sign. But our opponent has withdrawn, so it's not sure if that was a drop there or what. I'm not sure why he has abandoned us, but you can see essentially the basic principles we're going for: holding points, killing priority targets. So let's have a quick look at the values. We might see if we can queue up for another one. Okay, so we have found another match. We're up against Clemens Load. So let's switch to Tzeentch. And we shall lock in here. And we'll load up our beginner Tzeentch army. And we'll see what Clemens picks. So we've got the Kislev match again. And he's locked in instantly, so thanks for that. Okay, so for this, we're going to play it pretty much the same as we did before. We'll just separate these guys out. Be our first group. Be our second group. I'm not obviously going to keep that formation. That'll be our third group. They're going to go off over to this side point. Furies are going to deal with anything on the back line. Screamers are for anti-large. And there we go. I should have hit start straight away. But I wanted to get my stuff sorted too. Alright, let's see what we're up against. Very similar build to last time. Lots and lots of Streltsy at the back. Okay. Interesting. Get them over there. Let's send the Furies up this way actually. So a lot of change. Kairos can go over that way. And what do we want to do against Streltsy? Probably pink horrors. So let's... we want you guys to be sort of there. Both on the point. All the blues we want to be in hold ground stance. So let's go there, 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 and there. It's gone very, very wide. He hasn't taken a general, hasn't taken a caster, or anything like that. Okay, so over here, make sure you guys are there, and your blue horrors intermixed with you. Okay. He's getting the attention of a couple of his units. So let's bring Kairos around this way. We'll drop this down there. We're going to just have to charge forward, I think. Yeah, look at that, melting us with the sheer amount of shooting. And get these Furies in as well.
One of your units has been
That is a lot of shooting. So we'll get this. Got a Flamer. Not even jump Kairos into the combat down there. Blues actually are trading alright at range. Let's get the Furies in, Kairos in on this unit. Keep shooting the blue fire. Charge in. Okay, now we might bring some Oh, I might go some more pinks, actually. So the pinks will trade really well into this. Now these guys got armor piercing. Not the best choice to charge in, but we're going to charge them in anyway. And we're going to get some more horrors. Horrors, furies. Just to jump into the back here. So trying to deal with Streltsy first. Drop that down over there. These guys should do okay there.
Yes.
Okay, so we're starting to take a bit of damage here. On Kairos, let's activate his ward save and get him out. Don't want to bring the Screamers in. So just keep the Furies going in on those guys. Keep shooting. Let's get some Forsaken in now that it's a little bit less dangerous in here. I'll move you this way again. Try and get a flank shot. Actually, this unit will be nice because they're already moving. So let's focus fire down there. We're going to go another Fury just to keep pressure on the back. So no Furies have got no capture weight. But we currently have 2 capture points. Alright, switch your focus fire to what? Look at the Zargard.
One of your units has been destroyed.
We went there.
Okay, get some more blue horrors out. Where's our Forsaken? There they are. Bring them in this way. I need you shooting at the Zargard. Keep bringing down them. You've got your barrier nearly back. There's not as many threats around. Why are you standing still? Because you're in guard mode, but you're out of ammo. Okay, we're holding that. We're holding over there, but they are going to need... probably need help over there.
One of your units has been destroyed.
Okay, I'm bringing some more spawn. Now, what do we got left? Onto them. Okay, now we have this available. We're going to save it until they group up a little bit more. We will get some more blues in. Bring the pinks back a little bit. Okay, that's looking like a good little target there. So there's 2 Zargard in there and the remnants of some Streltsy, so that should get us some nice damage. Let's get Kairos out. Turn his shield back on. More blue horrors. Come on, blues, get moving. So we're just putting what we can on the points. So our Exalted Flamer is out of ammo, so let's recall him. Let's spin you back around this way. See what other targets we've got available. And we're going on those guys. So he's capped a point over there, so let's get... So our next blue horror, we'll send you over this way just to put pressure on it, and we'll get the Forsaken into the middle here. Okay, how's this fight going? Let's get Kairos over there to try and make sure we secure that. Bring you up into there. You can sit on top of him. No. Actually, jump into combat here for me, please. Forsaken again. So we can keep pushing forward. Kairos will come this way. And we're going to get a blast down the side here. We are going to need to summon some more units for that flank. Let's start with a blue horror. And now we'll charge Kairos in. Hopefully get a terror out. Those pinks are breaking. That's okay. Oh, that's where the Forsaken ended up. That's not a good trade for Forsaken versus Zargard. Not the end of the world though. Okay, cool. So these ones are now starting to break. Well, let's get some Furies over there just to try and tie them up. Okay, so we'll keep this Forsaken just back a touch. Let's get together another wave, ready to do another push. It's going to shoot our spawn down again. That's okay. We might get our cavalry online. Making a big push for this flank. Break his general. That will be nice. Let's get Furies again, just to keep up some backline pressure. How are we going on damage? We're just a little bit behind. Not a massive amount though. Okay, let's drop that in there. We might actually drop, oops, that's the wrong one. We'll actually drop his snare on the other one. We do need a solid unit to go out that way. Another spawn would be nice. It'll take a long time for the spawn to get worn down. Looks like his general unit is down. Jump on there for me, will you? Forsaken, jump in there. Forsaken, jump in there. These pinks are now run out of ammo, okay. Another blue one to this point. We just want to make sure we hold these two. Karos is still okay in here. He can tank him for a little while. I'm fine with that. Got plenty of health left. I do want to bring him up to fire his blue fire though. Okay, make sure we're holding that point. We don't want to give it up. Now we might actually take this simply with capture weight. So just to really drive it home, I send the pinks over there too. Did we cap it? We don't think we quite did, do we? No. Okay. It's okay. Don't stop. Let's keep pressure on. This might not be the best of ideas, keeping so much pressure on his back line, but we're trying to prevent him from moving in. So we do have that ready now. I'm gonna drop it on these back units. Now I want the cavalry, so we're gonna wait till we've got the cav ready. Blast them again. Good dodge from my opponent there. Saw it coming. Exalted Flamer was actually doing quite good work for me too, wasn't it? But that's not. Forsaken's not what I wanted, but it's what I've got, so we'll just use them over there. Fine. We got more Zargard coming this way.
Guide us.
We'll just hold them up. Because we're just about at the point where we're going to win here, so we only need to hold a single point. So there's no need to worry about much at all here. We've got this point, we've got pressure on the back line, we've got this point's under control, and there we go. We have taken the victory, basically just through maintaining capture weight and pushing our opponent back using generic army, which is what you want to be doing. So we'll have a look at the values. Karos did okay there, 2000 value, because you just wanted to use him, just spam that blue fire and jump him into combat where he needs to be and keep him safe. So he's not going to cap a point, but he's not super expensive, and he's going to get you your army ability, which lets you drop your big AoE down on huge blobs of the enemy. The spawn, they don't look like they got value, but they force the opponent to deal with them. So if they're going to waste their time shooting them, they're going to cap the point in the meantime, and your opponent's not going to make any forward movement, as we saw in the center point there, where he just lined his troops up and shot the spawn. So it feels bad losing them to no value, but at the end of the day, they've done their job. These screamers didn't have a good target, so they had no cavalry, no chariots, no characters for them to go for, so they weren't worth resummoning, but they got a little bit of value in there. Furies just jumping on back line, always good, always useful. Just remember they don't bring your capture weights, don't go too heavy on them. But they are a fire and forget unit. You summon them, you target enemy unit, you don't care if they die. If they die, they're cheap, you bring them back. Blue Horrors are your main capture unit here, and they do fantastically. The Exalted Flame, I only got to be summoned once, used up all its ammunition, but it was probably only shooting normal Cossars to start with. I should have had better target priority with it, but it is really good at destroying units like that. Another Spawn, Forsaken, again just use them to run into melee. The Pink Horrors, yeah, your shooting unit. So there we go. Interesting army from my opponent there, very wide, lots of Cossars, lots of shooting, so everything there. I think he brought all his, every single shooting unit he was allowed was in his starting list. So it's an interesting build. Lots of stealthy. Oh, I should probably go over those values because I know there's people that like seeing. Look at this one, 1100. So these ones would have been killing the spawn, so there's just free value for them. But again, value doesn't win you the game. Okay, Ice Witch was his reserves, and lots of Cossars. I mean, Zargard as well. So he really likes his Zargard. Really likes his infantry. I actually quite like that. It's very wide, very tanky, very lots and lots of capture weight. But he wasn't using the capture weight. The units were sitting there shooting instead of pushing forward onto the point, which might be how they have to win to push, but they never got the chance to push forward. The way to win is just to hold the points, and ranged units don't push them too well. So, well, there we go. Hopefully you have learnt a little bit about Tzeentch. From here you can sort of think about what you might change to make the list better going forward. So we had 2 games today, so you might have a bit of a think what you were lacking in each of those games against Kislev and what you want to change out. So you might not like the idea of sacrificing the spawn, and if you don't, that's absolutely fine. So you could swap them out with maybe 2 pink and 1 exalted pink horror units. That gives you the ability to shoot back. You have less holding power, but you've got a lot more firepower. You could also change out Kairos's spells. You could swap out and take the Penumbral Pendulum, which will give you a good answer to the infantry lines like we're up against there with Kislev. So that's another good option you could have gone with. You could have brought in a Soul Grinder if you wanted something heavily armored to go hunting big targets, but as you can see, if you went up against this list, your Soul Grinder wouldn't have been able to do much at all. You probably want to move the Screamers into your reserves. You could probably swap them out with Pink Horrors in the main list, since the Screamers are going to only be specifically needed against certain targets, so Pink Horrors will be generically useful against everything. So that's probably one change that I would definitely make here, would be swap the Screamers for the Pink Horrors. Pink Horrors are also a full capture weight unit, so there's a couple of benefits there to swapping. But anyway, hopefully this has given you a good starting point, something to think about and work towards as you learn how to change the ways for the Lord of Change, Tzeentch himself. If you're looking for more guides, they should be available on the left-hand side of the screen, and if you're just looking to check out some other Total War related videos, there should be one showing on the right. So please hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the next video.